Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that, but we are back up and running once again. Here now for the start of the race itself here in Saudi Arabia. Apologies we missed the end of qualifying, but I do have the order on my here on my notes. So in terms of the top 10 at end of qualifying, Grumio start from pole. Imri lines up in second place. Grumio beating Imri by a tenth and a half. And in third place, Landlord, and fourth, Dan, fifth, Pope, sixth, Curtis, Che, seventh, Flying Duck, 8th, Yoggle, 9th, and Ben rounds out your top 10. There is the circuit on offer, the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Landlord, the previous winner of this race. 25 lap showdown should be very entertaining indeed. And we should be in for about another 40 minutes or so of absolute chaos on this circuit, which is close to the, always close to the barriers. You're always inches from disaster. Of course, Grumio retired from this race, crashed out in the last season. Imri was on for victory here before a late safety car shook things up, allowed Landlord to come through and swipe it in. But hopefully we shouldn't have any more internet problems over the course of the race, and that'll make things a lot easier for all of us. And for those of you who obviously want to watch qualifying separately, you can now do that, and we can have the race on its own stream for tonight. So if anything, it shows a decent time to split. But in the meantime, though, we'll get going here with the start of the race in a few moments' time. Everyone, I imagine, running up at this stage, formation lap. But of course, should be very exciting all the way around. So Grumio having pole then in the closing moments. Imri lines up in second place. So the formation lap gets underway now.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
So medium tyres, the preferred weapon of choice for majority of drivers in the field. Pope from P10 without group penalty starts on soft. With PJ, Red J and Cottony Goblin going for a longer first stint. They start on the hards.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
So Grumio then lines up on the grid. The defending champion looking to really get his title defense underway. Didn't score last time out in Bahrain. Imri did. He lines up P2. Landlord P3 did nab points after starting towards the back last time out. As the last few cars take their places on the grid. Pope looks to try and work through the field here. Red J and Cottony Goblin take their last two spots at the back. Here we go now. 25 laps, the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Time to bring the action in the second Grand Prix of the season. It's lights out, foot to the floor, and we are underway. Great start there from Grumio as they charge down towards turn 1, but Imri draws alongside into the lead briefly at the first corner. Close to contact between the pair of them through turns 1 and 2. Imri slides on the outside there, but practically a contact, but Grumio slides away the lead, and now Landlord is, Imri almost being challenged by Landlord there on the way through, but keeping it under control for the most part. Landlord trying to force away around the outside, can't quite do it. Imri stays where he is in P2, down behind these guys, Curtis P5, but Imri couldn't quite get around Grumio on the start, but Grumio goes deep though, and Imri retakes the lead on the outside. He leads for the first time today. Landlord closing, Lucas trying to make something happen here. Down the inside goes Grumio once again, perhaps an illegal overtake for Imri, and not sure as to why that'd be, but we continue on there. So Grumio regains his place at the front of the field. Dan to the inside of Landlord there, takes P3 away. Of course, Dan been quick in recent weeks. Obviously in the first race in Bahrain. Everyone seems to get gone away nice and clean here. PJ falls back in the field. If he can upplane, he's got damage. He's picked up wing damage here. And he's lucky not to have it both sides. He's tapped the wall on the outside on exit of the chicane. Grumio leads them though and keeps it under control. Flying Duck a bit deep, then the Aston Martin. Ben looking around trying to find some kind of opening on the run down towards the last corner. DRS has been playing in a lap's time. Imri closing a bit on Grumio. Not putting it worth dive to the inside, but Curtis thinks differently. Down the inside of Landlord for P4. Looking to make the place on the exit. Can't quite do it though. So Landlord into fourth state, maintains fourth place. Flying Duck to the inside of Che as Grumio leads lap 1, but Imri goes through and takes the lead on the outside of the racetrack. Grumio as the inside run going in, and he'll maintain top spot into that first corner. Dan behind him looking for any sort of scrap he can try and pick up. But a very entertaining first lap all the way around. And everyone now into single file. PJ in the pit lane here, kicks Alba, getting the new front wing ready for him. Hard tyres going onto that machine. So 3 cars now on the hards and just the one on the softs. Pope on the soft tyre looks to try and challenge Flying Duck for a position here as they run towards the left-hander. Down the inside, looking at it, the former RDL champion, season 11 title winner, on the inside of Flying Duck, takes the place and almost took a bit of front wing with him. Duck's wing remains unscathed, no contact there. And both will continue on with Pope now in second place. Now Imrie sensing his first chance at DRS here. DRS goes wide open. Dan's behind them. Perhaps not worth a move just yet. Into the chicane. Grumio holding steady in first, but Imrie can get a good run here. And if not, he can always try and set up for a move on the main straight. The last DRS zone in this little chain. Dan closing in too. Imrie doesn't go for it. All three cars staying in line there, but Pope now challenging Curtis, the Alpine driver, on the inside there, keeping his position, but Pope might try and come back at him with the DRS once again. Down towards turn 1 for lap 3. Imrie this time with DRS goes around the outside of Grumio and manages to clear him. So Imrie leads into turn 1 once again. These two have gone back and forth since the start. Dan in P3, look to see if he can try and take on Grumio as well. Dan hunting that first RDL race victory. Perhaps it could be today, you never know. With the pace of the Ferraris now, you start to wonder if this will be a season where he comes through and nabs at least one Grand Prix win. Imrie pulling away here, just the 2 RDL wins to his name, both back in season 16, one in Hungary and one in Qatar. Can he have the third one today? He's pulling away from Grumio here, so he's had a fantastic start to this race. You can tell he was pressurising him right from the get-go and has managed to make the move stick. And now Grumio will have DRS of his own to try and come back at Imrie. It's like a slightly fresher air given how far back he is. Down towards the chicane, closing in by a few tenths. So that was from 7 tenths down to 4, maybe even 3. He's still got 2 more DRS straights to come, so Imrie's got his work cut out from if he wants to stay in the lead. But will Dan get to Grumio first? I don't think he will. They're all closing up together. Where's he passing Ben for P9? Red Jane, Cotley Goblin are falling off the pace on the hard tyres. Perhaps not the tyre choice of preference there. Grumio to the inside of Imrie at turn 1. Dan with the fastest lap. He's got both these two in his sights. Side by side for the lead once again, and it is Grumio who emerges on top. Imrie falls back into line, avoids Dan making that move to the inside, going through towards turns 4 and 5. Contact! And Dan gets all out of shape. Landlord trying on the inside there. Almost got squeezed into the outside wall. That was very close. Be careful there, guys. Not sure as to what really happened in the corner. But Che's got damage from that. Both Ferraris then plate damage here. And Landlord gets away unscathed. I think Che might have caught a piece of that. Slide there from Curtis. Keeps it under control, but falls back behind Pope. Pope down to P6. It's now the RBs, the Haas cars, and the Ferrari cars. I think without doubt the 3 teams to watch out for so far. Ben and Yoglu both getting penalties. 3 second leads for time for track limits. Grumio outside over the curb there. Has Imrie got enough DRS? He's only just got enough. He's a second out now. Grumio using his battery to try and pull away and keeping himself just above that second margin, but of course the detection point changes to the exit of the final corner. So does Imrie have enough? Yes, he does. Only just keeping himself in range, and Dan's behind him too, so keep an eye out because he might try and go for it towards turn 1. Grumio pulling away here on lap number 5 of 25 in this race now. Further back, Curtis might come down, taking it 3 wide into turn 1. Gets himself in front of Che, but Che back on the outside, fighting back in that Ferrari. Flashbacks to the mid 2000s as the teams from Enstone and Maranello duke it out for position on the racetrack. Both Italian teams doing fantastic well at the minute. Of course, RB and Ferrari, but having both their cars in the top 7. Curtis the outlier here in that fight. Che with a time penalty. Flying Duck is behind these guys, looking to try and again force a way into this scrap. Has he got enough? DRS for Imrie here, closing in. That gap has shut itself down once again. And we'll get these three fighting for the lead. Lando in P4, about 7 tenths back. They're still in contention to try and keep up with this train. It's Pope is then 2.5 back in P5. Perhaps those soft tyres already starting to wear. And Curtis may seize his chance shortly. Imrie be looking once again. Will he go to the outside off of the last corner again? I imagine we'll see Grumio defend down low. Getting it all the way to the inside as Grumio has got, so Imrie's got no choice but to go around the high lane. And he keeps himself in there, wrestling in on the inside. Che pitting. Rete disconnecting. Grumio maintains his lead for now. Hoping starting to struggle on those soft tyres. Che in the pits. He's gone back on to set hard tyres and repaired that wing too. Wait, no, sorry, no. He's kept the wing off. So just a tyre change, and he's now back on the racetrack. But can he go to the end on those hard tyres? And when he needs to go to the end on those hard tyres, of course, the safety car could always come out and change the equation completely. That'd be something all these guys in the mediums will be keeping their eyes out for. So Grumio leads Imrie then. So definitely confusing me seeing Imrie and Pope in the Haas. Of course, the car they were chasing down the Constructors' Championship, which was driven by Grumio and Landlord last season. So two of the teams in terms of the top three of the Constructors' Championship have stayed at the top of the order. Because of course, James and Duck were in the RB last season. The RB now being threatened by two drivers at the same time. But all close to 3 wide. No contact between Imrie and Dan. Slide there from Imrie off the last corner. That's going to allow Dan to take P2. It's going to be close though. Do we see him go 3 wide again? We're going to see it. 3 wide for the race lead. Imrie takes the lead into 1, but Dan alongside him could try and get around the Haas car. Double whammy potentially for Daniel Aron if he can clear him. Can't quite do it. Imrie takes the spot, but Grumio now down to 3rd. Under pressure from his teammate. Curtis back there in P5. Websy 6. Pope down 2 places. Flying Duck making moves. 10th cannon into the top 10. It's all going on here in Jeddah. Ben holds the last point with that penalty. JB right behind him. Yoglu in P12 at AT P13. A bit further back to Red J. He's got Courtney Godwin for company in P14, P15. Of course, Che and PJ have made stops in this race so far already. Are Imrie and Dan the 2 faster cars here? And can they try and pull an advantage to the 2 RBs behind them? Because those RBs will be strong. So those two took good opportunities to score points on it last week in a race where the RBs didn't score as many. Of course, Grumio failed to score. Lionel took home 6 in the end. So 7th place finish for him in Bahrain after the reserves being counted out. The top 4 big breakaway here. 3 seconds back to Curtis, 1 second back to Websy. Pope will be looking to pounce on the Williams as Dan reclaims the lead from Imrie. Leads for the first time today in that Ferrari. Of course, over 100 wins between these 4 drivers combined between them, but of course the majority of those belong to Grumio. 100 of them to be exact. Into turn 1 again, Imrie looking for the lead. Those two side by side. Can the experienced champion make his move around both of them? Can't quite do it there. It's quite a narrow part of the circuit. No real prize in going for a move at that stage. Imrie reclaims the top spot. Dan stays in hot pursuit, hot on his heels, looking for P1 back. Move down more to the mid-pack here. JB leading this train, so managed to get around Ben for P10. It's 3 seconds up to Flying Duck and the Aston Martin. Ben and Yoglu hunting him. They've both got penalties. Those two will be fighting each other, I think, is the majority of the race here. Pope holding off 10th Cannon. He's had a fantastic charge in the first 7-8 laps of this race. Of course, made it into Q2, but that crash on her outlap got a dampener. Oh! Car on the circuit. Pope's around! Pope goes out! Safety car is deployed, and that's a big crash there. Not sure what happened to Pope at all there. But the safety car has been deployed for the first time today on lap number 8, and we discussed it during qualifying, myself and Pope, but it seems that his crash is the one that's brought it out. In come the leaders for their first pit stops of the race. Imri now the lone Haas on the racetrack. But very unfortunate for Pope, who I feel maybe getting a sense of deja vu from his first few races last season. But Imri get things under control, and he is away out in front of Dan. So the camera stays out, so she now goes into the lead. Imri the penalty there for multiple warnings. And not sure what that's all about. Perhaps may have got a warning for crossing the white line on the exit. And I doubt we'll be able to get Pope in to talk, which is fine. But I imagine very frustrating. But Pope for the second time in 2 races, goes down as a DNF. Reggie also retiring here. I think he's been disconnected, and with that, the game is around the race. So 2 retirements then. Reggie is also out. Oh no, I think he may have also crashed himself. If he doesn't despawn before Che gets to him, oh no, there he goes. So 2 cars then out the race all of a sudden. I guess Reggie has been auto-retired. Well, 2 rather unfortunate incidents under one that brings out the safety car, and one that happens under the safety car. But in that, 2 cars staying out in terms of these opening stops. Courtney Goblin stays on the hard tyres, and 10th Cannon stays on her mediums. So leads for the first time in her RDL career. Imri there in second place. Will we see 10th Cannon this time? She's perhaps angling for a way into the pits. Yes, she is. So she'll be on tyres a lap fresher than anyone else, but it will cost her track position as a result. So she'll fall perhaps to the back of the pack, maybe 14th if PJ gets through in time. But Imri now retakes the lead. Dan in second, Grumio third. Well, a lot of racing still to be done here. It's only lap 10 of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. There'll be 15 to go when we cross the line. Both Red Bulls coming in. 10th Cannon away in front of Courtney Goblin. I think it's also come in. And Che came in too to put on a set of mediums. So set of hard tyres, the capacity used on the start. So he's taking the opportunity to change that wing and will now get himself back into the race. Also said to big help PJ Khaled too, who had to pit early on. Fix that wing, now back on the circuit. So I imagine we'll be able to get going racing again this time. And no real predictions in terms of who's going to win this race. Of course, Imri and Dan look at the cars to beat, but you can never count out Grumio nor Landlord. However, Landlord, I think in the double stack for RB, is fallen back behind Curtis and Websy. So keep an eye on those two because they may have the pace to try and keep up on the restart. And we should get a message here from Race Control in a matter of seconds telling us the race is set to be restarted now that everyone's closed up. Or we get another lap. There it is. Safety car is in this lap. Bernd Maylander brings the RDL safety car away. Aston Martin finally back to pit road and the race will restart with 15 laps to go. We're going on to lap 11 of this race. Now how Imri handled this restart in our first safety car of the season. Got the whole pack there behind him going wide in the last corner. Leaving it slightly later here, weaving around in front of the pack. And there he goes. That's a particularly good getaway from Imri there. He'll lead us on to lap 11. We're back on the way. Grumio might get right to work here towards turn 1. He's right on the back of the Ferrari to the first corner. There goes the reigning record champion down the inside. Side by side in the first two corners. Who comes out on top there? Grumio in front. Curtis peaked for a second, perhaps looking for a move out of turn number 2. Everyone keeping it nice and steady here. So Cannon passing Yogolu. Cotley got him back down the pit lane here. Tubbs going back on. So we continue on with him with 15 cars in this race, 13 of which are our full-time drivers. Of course, reserves unable to score championship points in the league in terms of the Race for the Drivers' Championship. But Imrie always quite a good jump there, and Dan perhaps caught off guard a bit by it, allowing Grumio to go through and take away that spot. So Grumio had to start reeling Imrie in. So he's doing that already without the DRS. Imrie burned a fair bit of battery on that getaway, so keep an eye out. 10 Cannon passing both Che and AT. Yogolu passing AT as well. AT's got big damage on the wing in the Aston Martin. And PJ knows how that feels, but the Sauber just made the move. Not sure what's happened, but we could see the Aston Martin on the pit lane this time. DRS is enabled. In comes AT. We'll continue with the race up front. It's all single file here. Ben and JB side by side, the first break in that, but Ben going over the curb and get a penalty as a result. And even with that penalty, JB comes through and takes the place. Ben looking for a split second to the inside, I think thinking about it, going towards the left-hander, but thought better of it. Now in P6 right now, the top 5, Websy, Curtis, Dan, Grumio and Imrie, but will that change? Because Grumio's going to have DRS this time on the car he used to drive, the car he drove to the championship last season. DRS is deployed. So not quite going for it. Again, second dose of it down towards the last corner. Grumio to the inside. Dan closing on both cars. Could we see these guys go through wide for the lead again down the main straight? Grumio to the inside. Takes the bleed away. Imrie holding his new position in line. And we'll look to try and get him on the exit. Grumio with the overtake button on. Use that to maintain his place. Dan closing though. He's got a decent run. Both cars have decent runs. But can't make the move for now. 10th Cannon though can. She and Ben have both gotten around at JB for P8 and P9. That'll move JB down to the last points playing place in the order. Che right behind, Yogolu P12, PJ P13, then Cotley and AT running out the order as it stands right now. The top 3 working to try and lose Curtis here. He gets a penalty there. Websy P5 behind these guys. And Lando P6. So the second back to Flying Duck has been just outside that lead pack all night so far. The Pulsitor leads the way. DRS again in play. Down towards the left-hander once again. We're on lap 13 here, so 12 laps to go across the line. Imrie on the outside. Grumio backing off. With the guarantee he gets DRS. He's got a good run too, so might try and get it back. Lando with the fastest lap. He is there behind those guys. Can't make a move, but Webbs is looking. Grumio reclaims the lead with DRS to his hand. Imrie back to second. And Webbs has to be careful and make sure he doesn't fall off the back of this train. Then with another penalty there, we're going side by side through turn 2. He's got 9 seconds with him, the most of any driver in the field so far. Yogolu's got 3, and then Imrie, Curtis, Che, Cotley and AT all have 3 themselves. Yoglu's got 6, right? I think I said 3. This cat and mouse game looks to continue here. Provided that Imrie can get the run. And if he can't get the run, then Dan will certainly try. There he goes. Darting back through, making his move for the race lead. Imrie back in front. So perhaps, he's definitely still at the pace. Perhaps a lead that wasn't as commanding as last season's was, but still a lead nonetheless. Grumio closes back in. Dan also getting close too. But neither one of them going for a move to the inside. Both opting to wait to the last chance on that main straight. Of course, neither particularly good at exit to make that happen. Grumio blasting past Imrie there at turn 1. Just replaying the place. Yoglu around Ben, up into the top 10 now. JB in a good position to add some points here. To add to his tally from Bahrain. P5 in last week's race. Going back towards the DRS zone once again. This is where all the fight is. There's still 10 laps to go, so that's still a total of 30 DRS zones to be run. At maximum, of course, the safety car could change that. DRS deployed again. PJ Calla gets a warning there. Sorry, gets a penalty for multiple warnings. He's running P13 at the moment. But both cars below him also have penalties, so he should be okay in terms of time unless he has more. Oh, all 3 of them in 3 seconds. On to lap 16, 10 laps to go. 30 more DRS zones to play. And Grumio set the purple time. Better get across the circuit, I think. It's another penalty for him. That's to be 12 seconds to his name. JB passing Yoglu and then backing off. He may have got an illegal overtake, and that will leave PJ stuck in his wake. Yoglu and JB starting to pull away now. JB no penalties and in P10, so safe in terms of position right now. With that penalty, you can actually see what happened. But if you went, imagine it was penalty being over the yellow line, so that I shouldn't think that would get removed. But of course, the stewards may rule differently. That may have been the last warning he needed. But Dan and Curtis, again, same thing. One driver with a penalty, one driver without. So of course, a penalty for Grumio here will work wonders for Dan, as he'd inherit both those 2 places and nab the win. I'm sure he'd rather win the race on track. Down the main straight. Imrie gets DRS. Dan's going to follow him through. Might try and thread the needle here. Passing Grumio. Passing Imrie. Double whammy potentially at turn 1. Can he outbrake his opponent in the Haas? Yellow flag. The last corner. That's PJ. He's had enough. He's recovered it though. And Dan takes the lead. PJ looks to be alright. He's staying out. End plate damage in that car, but Dan now back in front. I think Imrie sense perhaps he might be able to win this race. And there's a 5-car train there, so he may not even finish on the podium either. Sorry, a 6-car train if you're still counting Websy, but it's another 3 seconds back to 10th cannon, so he shouldn't fall that many places. Landlord challenging Curtis here, closing on Curtis. Dan still holding Che off. Sorry, still holding Imri off. Che down P9 right now, so perhaps the safety car didn't play into his hands too well. Just made the stop for damage too, because it is on his own in a minute. Oh, Grumio takes the lead away. Got away just the wrong time. I think the Grumio's closed out to both of them, taking the lead. That's a big double whammy, but both cars behind them will now have DRS. So we're going to go 3 wide again for the race lead. Imri had it for a second, down on the outside. Imri's got the preferred line into 1. It's going to be very close between the pair of them. It's typically the car on the outside, then the inside for turn number 3 that gets away with it. Down towards 4, Imri reclaims the lead. We're nearing the closing stages now. The closing phase fast approaching in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Imri in the lead, but of course will lose that race lead on penalties. So Dan a good spot here. Right now on course to win in the RDL for the first time. For the back, JB still holding off Yogolu. 1.8 back to Ben. PJ by himself, P13, 18, P14, sorry, AT back there himself, and Courtney Goldman, the last of running cars. Of course, Red J and Pope out of the race into that first safety car about 10 laps ago. What an exciting race it's been so far up front. And elsewhere, we've had some fantastic fights so far from that. Duck's got Che chasing him down, trying to try and make that pass if he can. Not closer this time, we'll keep an eye on him. Imri making the move here. Down with the DRS though, and Grumio's there. Perhaps I might try and nab both cars if he can. Nabs one. I imagine he can't nab another. Imri falls back into line. Driving the same car he chased last season. Onto lap 19. Grumio to the inside. Imri following him through. Grumio to the lead. Former winner here in Jeddah. Looking to add another trophies to his cabinet. Looking for win number 101. 8 championships, 100 wins, having already acquired legendary status in what's become a very rewarding league to win the title in, but a feeling that only very few know, thanks to Grumio. Of course, has won the majority of the last few seasons of titles. Grumio off the circuit though, and Imri reclaims the lead. Will be 6 laps to go and across the line again. Trying to pull the Grumio here, so let's try and have the lead back from Imri. Second chance here. Out of 3. Pull to the outside. Can he get enough to pull alongside? He can't for the minute. Landlord taking P4 from Curtis. Those two duking it out behind. Close on the outside there. Oh, 3 wide behind them. Big shot, big move there. What a move from Landlord into P3. The defending race winner might try and thread the needle here. He wouldn't dare, would he? Not a chance. Keeps it in line, but Dan to his inside. It's all kicking off here in the top 6. Oh, slide. Dan gets loose. Holds the car. Doesn't take damage, but falls down to P4 now. Side by side with a 3-time champion in the other RB. Dealing with the champion, no matter which one you take on. Contact between the pair of them. Grumio claims the lead. Imri dropping back here. And Dan and Lando, those 4 cars now all out of DRS range. Yellow flag behind. Flying Duck out of the race. Late safety car. That's a big hit for Flying Duck, who may have just seen the wrong side of the barriers there. Well, now what do you do? I would think we'd see them all come in here for a set of soft tyres and then to race to the finish, and that little gap there may be enough potentially for RB to avoid a double stack if they can. Because Landlord now sits 5 seconds behind Grumio. So if Grumio can maintain that gap, that might help RB's case, and Landlord might be able to keep position. But does everyone stay out? What is the plan here? What do you do? You'd think soft tyres, but the softs are awfully fast. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere because you're in for quite a finish to this race. So basically, Ottolero, I think, he will lead the army off the cliff. Grumio coming in, everyone else following him behind. We'll see a double stack from RB here. I reckon Lando might get affected by that. He's definitely going to get affected by that.